I get eaten while doing the
Yep.
intro.
You ready? What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Not Gon Lie. It's your boy Fritz.
Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Dapper Dan, and you're now tuned into the latest and soon to be the greatest podcast, sponsored by Sour Power Straws.
You know what's crazy, bro? My fucking tongue is burning because I had one of them watermelon lollipops, like
And
real
it cut
classic.
it?
Yeah,
It cut it.
so it got the sugar coming. I'm bad, bro. Shit burn.
Bro,
But it's alright though, 'cause this shit valid.
it's always valid. I'll always eat it, bro. I have a cut on the side of my cheek. I'm still chewing it. It don't matter. But yo, man, what am I gonna say? Jesus Christ.
I think I lost his train. He lost his train of thought.
Just a heads up to anybody. If we seem off today, it's because this is not a regular day for us.
Nope.
But we gonna try to make the best of it, feel me? But this is gonna be another episode, Not Gonna Lie. This is what episode?
I definitely lost count.
I think we're at 14.
Right up.
This is 14, right?
Right now we're recording 15.
We're recording 15 because we did 14.
Ah.
Yeah, let's get serious. We're not potting properly right now. All right, so last episode we gave y'all a NFL heavy, not NFL heavy, NFL strictly episode. So this week we figured we'd balance out, the sports gods and, give you an NBA heavy episode. So with that being said, Mr. Fritz, what we got on the docket so far?
So a lot of the times, two players that get compared to each other, mainly because they're wings and they play for the two largest teams for the NBA, Jayson Tatum and Brandon Ingram. Who do you think is going to be the better player in 5 years?
This is probably one of the tougher comparisons that I can really think of, you know what I'm saying? Because one, I think their games mirror each other in a small way, not the largest way, but their games are definitely similar in a sense that,
Really?
they take some of the same types of shots, but, Ingram more so scores through, using his length, he shoots over the top people, and whereas Jayson Tatum is more so finesse, a little more flash, pizzazz to the game, but still definitely, his is more so back to the basket, fade away. Brandon Ingram's more so to drive to the basket than he is, in my opinion, from what I've seen. But in terms of who will be better, I'm gonna go with Ingram just off the physical attributes. I'm just keen to go with more so a taller player because I feel like obviously with the height, it just comes with an easier scoring acumen. There's not much people that's gonna be able to really block him, so it's just gonna be on him to make the shot. And he just recently scored 49, so he's literally coming into his own. So him going to that New Orleans team was definitely one of the best things to really happen to him, and I feel like it's great that he's blossoming, and he's definitely going to be, I don't say he's ever going to become a 1, but I feel like he'll be a great 1B, 2A player, 1B or 2 player, you know what I'm saying, in his career, more something like a Joe Johnson kind of thing.
You feel like that's his ceiling? Like that type of all-star?
Yeah, I don't know I could be completely wrong, 75%.
75%.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? I see him, I don't ever, because I feel like he can be like he is right now, the 1, but I don't see him, surpassing, more so Joe Johnson. I don't see him surpassing that. Because, let's give Joe Johnson his credit. He wasn't whack. You know what I'm saying? He's a certified bucket.
But you saying that means you don't think that he was essentially worthy of the second pick.
Nah, he was.
But for Joe Johnson's ceiling, was it really worth the second pick?
Would you think? A second pick is not. You know what I'm saying? It was one. You gotta consider who else was around in the draft, because wasn't it?
I don't recall that draft off the top of my head.
It wasn't super talent filled from what I remember.
With Brandon Ingram, it's like people compare him. Well, my point, what I was gonna say is I pick Brandon Ingram personally because I feel like he reminds me of Kevin Durant, and that's one of the bigger comparisons that he had coming out of college. And like you said, his game is it's lengthy. He can drive, he can shoot. Jayson Tatum is nice too. I feel like his comparison to his game, he has a lot of flashes of Kobe, just the way mid range and for finesse and whatnot. I feel like they're both gonna be superstars. I don't feel like either of them have a Joe Johnson ceiling. Like I feel like both of them can be number one options on their team. Like 5 years from now, I feel like they'll both be number one options on their respective team.
Maybe.
Especially Brandon Ingram, bro, because we got to think about like coming from last year, like towards like the end of the season before niggas started getting injured and whatnot, and even after like LeBron got injured, like his numbers spiked, like his usage rate went up and all that, and like he was playing good, and like that translated to this year. Like even though the Pelicans were playing, relatively bad, he was one of the more consistent players on the team, and now they're winning more. Like recently as of late, to the point where they're in the playoff hunt. They're only like 3 games out of the 8th seed or some shit like that. So, and this nigga's averaging like 27 points or some shit. Like Brandon Ingram, he's gonna be he's already a beast, but I feel like he's gonna be a superstar. Like I don't feel like Joe Johnson is
I don't disagree with the potential, because like he could definitely surpass a Joe Johnson ceiling, like just an all-star player. But I don't know, a superstar is a strong thing for me right now. I mean, they're still both very early in their careers, so it could be whatever could happen. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I just feel like with players out there that's like already on that trajectory of being like a superstar player. You know what I'm saying? When you think about like the Luka Doncic's, and you think about you think about somebody like a Trae Young, who's definitely going to be a superstar next 2-3 years. You think people like that, just like when you compare them to like Tatum or Ingram, it's just hard to see the superstar ceiling, and for me at least, because like I feel like superstars, they come out like out the gate like that. I don't remember the last time.
Not necessarily, bro.
Like who's really a superstar that wasn't like, I mean, besides Kawhi. Kawhi's the only one that I feel like really worked himself into the
super. You're talking about right now or in just general?
Like, I mean, just name some. Like who
Kobe
worked?
Bryant.
Kobe was nice already. He just wasn't getting that play time because of the way the league was set up at the time. You didn't play the rookies like that. You didn't play the young guys over the older guys.
You feel like the superstars, they were always superstars. There was nobody that became a superstar.
But like I said, the only one that comes to mind for me is Kawhi. I don't know anybody off the top of my head that like came in and like had numbers like. I mean, maybe Tatum's numbers were a little ahead of like Brandon Ingram's when he started off, but like, you know what I'm saying? Nobody really had that like a small start and really became big like that besides like Kawhi. And who knows what Kawhi would have been if he wasn't on the Spurs.
Paul George? Do you consider him a superstar?
Mm-mm.
Huh?
Paul George is like whatever tier is under superstar but above all-star.
A very high all-star.
Yeah, like that's where Paul George lands. I feel like who else lands in that realm right now? I feel like damn. I can't even. I'm drawing blanks right now, but Paul George is in that.
He leads that.
Huh?
He leads that list, whatever
like that's definitely the first name that comes to mind when like he's above an all-star, but definitely not a superstar.
You got a fly in here, bro.
I didn't see it, so leave me alone.
Oh god, we can't focus with flies in here.
You're right.
Well, we should, So as usual, the Western Conference is, pretty tough. Like in terms of seeding,
Packed.
A lot of the times the 3rd to 9th seed, the difference is like 3 games and shit. But there are literally from 8 to 14, everybody can contend for that 8th seed, and it is only 4 games that are separating them. So we got Memphis at the 8th seed right now. It may change up by the time this episode come out. We got San Antonio in there, Portland, Phoenix, New Orleans, Minnesota, and Sacramento. Now, who would you choose out of those teams to finish 8th at the end of the season? And where do you see them finishing, like in terms of the win-loss record?
When I look at this list, I immediately have 3 picks that I think will be contending for that spot at the end of the season. Well, one would be the Grizzlies. Mm-hmm. Next would be, I'm going to throw the Pelicans in there if Zion, can play at a decent level for the rest of the season. And then thirdly, I'm going to throw the Trailblazers in there. The Trailblazers.
Oh, sounded crazy.
I said the Trailblazers.
No, I
don't know what the headphones on.
No, you're right. You do that.
But yeah. So it's tough to pick one because I want to say Trailblazers because they've been kind of getting their act together just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? In a way, and they have those veteran guys, and then they have a superstar who I personally feel is a superstar in Lillard. You know,
definitely a superstar.
and then McCollum, Whiteside,
Strong.
Melo. It's a strong starting squad at the very least, and they're experienced and they can play ball and they're getting it together. So I can see them making a run for that 8th seed post All-Star break. Making a run, but I also see the Grizzlies being that young team that kind of sneaks in because I feel like every time I see them play, it's like teams are like off guard by how good Ja is, how well he runs that team, how great, you know what I'm saying? So like it's a tough, and then the Pelicans just can be strong because that can be a very streaky team, you know what I'm saying, with Ingram and Zion. I don't know how that dynamic is gonna work, but there's a talent on that squad that can, and then Drew Holiday's gonna come back. He's injured right now, but you know what I'm saying. So they can kind of make something work. Like they can kind of shake up the standings a little bit once it's full squadded, and then JJ Redick is obviously gonna be JJ Redick. So it's tough to say. I mean,
if you had to choose one,
I think I still roll with the Trailblazers only because of age and experience. But other than that, secondly, I probably roll with the Grizzlies.
and what's the record?
I can't even predict that, but I'd say probably a game over 500.
42-40.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bias opinion, my choice would want to be the Trailblazers because I'm a big Melo fan.
Right.
I fuck with D-Lo. I just fuck with that team in general, and I feel like they can be streaky. But they've been depleted by injuries and for their big men. Zach Collins and Nurkic. I'm pretty sure he's gonna come back.
Yeah,
this
they're
season.
planning. I think last I heard, they're targeting sometime in February.
So hopefully that's the case. I just wonder how that dynamic is gonna work. Like if they're gonna keep Hassan Whiteside, if they're gonna go for a trade because he's on an expiring contract.
Right.
So they have to just figure out what move is best for them. I want to see them make the playoffs. I'm not 100% sure that's gonna happen. But if I had to choose, it would be the Pelicans. Just like how the Memphis Grizzlies snuck up on everybody, because I just looked at I was looking at the standings, but I was never paying attention to where Memphis was, and then sooner or later they were the 8th seed. I feel like the Pelicans are gonna fuck around and do that because I personally feel like the dynamic of having Zion with Bi is gonna work because like it's gonna be similar to RJ and Zion in college, except Bi is way more efficient than RJ was, and he can score much better. It's faster pace. It's gonna be much more space. Like I feel like it's gonna work. So my pick would be the Pelicans, and I feel like they can probably sneak 43 wins and get crazy.
I mean, that's tough because only reason, like I said, I don't pick them is because Zion hasn't played much. You know what I'm saying, and you still need time to gel to really run the table like that. It's not impossible.
It's not.
But I feel like, they really haven't gelled as a whole complete squad. Like, that Grizzly squad has been rolling as a basically semi-complete squad for the most part.
They have been having to deal with a lot of consistent injuries, so I understand why you say that.
And like I said, and then Portland is getting themselves together right as we speak. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? To pick a team that's hasn't really been rolling together mid-season to make a run, tough. It's possible, but tough. You know what I'm saying?
No, but the Trailblazers is definitely a close second for my choice there. Memphis is surprising me though, man. They are surprising me for sure.
Yeah, and like honestly, and I'm mad because I should have stuck with my first pick when we first did the rankings. I chose Ja, and remember I came back and reneged and said Zion because of the preseason work he was doing. But I forgot we hadn't even seen Ja.
Yeah.
We hadn't seen Ja since college, and he came out and was just balling. And I was like
a motherfucker. He didn't play not one summer league game, right?
I don't think he played summer league or preseason.
Yeah, no, he definitely didn't play preseason.
Did he play season?
No, he didn't do preseason. I don't think so.
You sure?
I might be wrong.
Now, 'cause I know he definitely didn't play summer league, but I can't remember if he played preseason or not. But either way, I feel like he did. But either way, like me personally, like I know a good point guard, and like I saw it like from since he was at Murray State. Like I was like, that's a good point guard. Like he balls and like he plays basketball with a different type of mentality than like most players that come out the draft. So like I knew it.
If only he was in there.
Bro, I mean, they cheated us out that pick because
they
start changing up the rules the year we in the top. We definitely getting the top 5 pick.
He did say, what was it? Every 11 years? 6 years. So Fredo says every 6 years the first pick is a wash. The last one was Anthony Bennett. And before that, Greg Oden.
Those some bad picks.
Yeah. Who? Kwame Brown.
Guys got small hands.
That's tough. So you saying off the strength?
Stephen A. Smith was really like,
He said Kwame Brown.
like the man cannot play the game of basketball. I was tired. But yo, let's
So Fredo, you saying Zion Williamson
Williamson.
this is gonna be a wash? That's what you saying.
I'm saying if history repeats itself, it's not looking good.
Oh man,
That's tough because I mean that's some tough history to
That
beat.
is.
Those have all been
consistent.
washed.
Consistent
I mean,
bad.
granted, Greg Oden bad knees. You know what I'm saying? Was nice bad knees. And then Anthony Bennett shouldn't have been number one pick regardless.
Bro, I was mad confused when he got chose.
Bro, regardless of that, but so technically he shouldn't even have been there. But
No, not at all.
it's hard to count him. But regardless, I'll leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Still rolling with Memphis. Stick there. I mean, Trailblazers go there.
And then Memphis, second pick.
Yeah.
You brought up a topic about the whole resting thing. If you want to elaborate on that.
Oh yeah. So I was actually having a tough discussion with my other bro because he was just like, "Yo, Zion, just sit the whole season. Like, why are you playing? Why are you coming back?" And I'm like, "Bro, my thing with injuries as somebody who's played sports, like different sports, in different places. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like sitting down is not always the best thing. Like, I feel like in KD's scenario, sit out. You have an injury that's tough to come back from historically. There's no reason for you to play right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Take your time, come back. Zion's injury, yeah, we didn't think it was as serious. It turns out either they were being really cautious or it was more serious than we thought. But I feel like somebody at Zion's weight and with his skill set needs to be playing when they can, when they're 100% healthy, should be playing. Reason being, when you're sitting down on your ass, you're
Falling asleep on the bench.
that was hilarious, bro. But yeah, besides posting on the bench, like you're sitting there, you're gaining weight because you're eating, you're not really running up and down, and then two, when you gotta go back into NBA action, you're more liable to get hurt because you haven't played NBA speed level like basketball in a while. So like for you to go back out there and then try to keep up with everybody that's been playing, you're gonna hurt yourself or you have high potential to hurt yourself because you haven't been out there.
So you
And
feel like it's counterproductive.
it's almost in certain situations for certain injuries and certain players, it is counterproductive. And I feel like for Zion, that is counterproductive because you can sit out this whole season, cool, but then you still got to jump back into an NBA season you've never touched. You haven't touched the court yet. You know what I'm saying? Like at least get a feel for it now, as opposed to like sitting out a whole season and then because look what happened to Embiid. You know what I'm saying? Sat out, came back, hurt himself again. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like at some point you got to get in that training in there, get your body used to moving at that pace. Like if your body never gets a chance to get moving at that pace, you're gonna get hurt.
So I mean, at least he's gonna be playing this season. So that's one thing. But do you have like another example of where sitting out you don't think was the best thing?
I mean, like Embiid a little bit. I want to say who else? Who else sat out? Like somebody like Kawhi who clearly needs to load manage because he has a real issue with his knee. Fine, you know what I'm saying? Sit out when you need to, but in terms of like sitting out a whole season, like there's not that many examples that come to mind besides like a Blake or like a who else? Who sat out? Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons sat out. But I mean, like I said, it just goes for different players. But I feel like you have to assess that in a case by case basis. When you have a guy like Zion who's 285, you know what I'm saying, 6'6", 285, an explosive athlete, he has to be out there getting his body into a certain kind of shape. Because when you play a basketball game, it's different than practice. In the NBA, they don't even practice hard, really. Like they don't barely do anything. Like they really be doing like walkthroughs and like that be the practice for the most part. Like, you know, the most hard practice comes in like training camp and things of that nature. So like for you to like somebody like him that's an extreme athlete, you got to get out there.
I feel like I understand where you're coming from and I definitely hear you, but just off the strength of like the past like past histories that like New Orleans had to deal with in terms of injuries, like with Anthony Davis in particular. Like he was always getting nicked, always getting hurt, and just the fact that they heavily invested in Zion, I understand why they're really trying to take their time with him. But you did bring up a very good point of at least getting him out there so he can be used to the NBA speed, so he doesn't, run the risk of hurting himself.
And not to cut you off, but like so when you have an investment like that, you want to see it like out there, and then like the thing is you can see like what you're dealing with for real, because like people have been saying he might be an injury prone guy, so let him go out there and let's see it. Like let's see if he is an injury prone player or if it was just freak accidents, what I'm saying?
He gained 8 pounds of muscle since.
I read that and I didn't read the article, so I didn't want to speak on it, but like I read the caption on
8 pounds of muscle.
I was like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I just don't get it, bro.
All he was doing was lifting.
And it was somebody it was 1 week of like lifts. It wasn't even like nothing. I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me, bro.
How much did he eat?
That's what I'm saying. How much weight can you put on in a week? 8 pounds?
That means that he just built different.
Yeah, bro. Like that's nuts.
I guess it just depends on the situation, really. Like it's a situational thing. But again, I understand where New Orleans is coming from because you really want to be careful with this one. Especially since. Like with the team that they have, like you want Zion to be able to play with that team, but you also don't want to have another situation where he's only playing like 12, 13 games a season, some crazy shit.
I mean, true, but like I said, he's young.
Let him play.
Let him play. You know what I'm saying? He can still heal from certain things pretty quickly at this point.
Yeah.
Let him, get out there, feel the game, see what he has to do so he can be the player you need him to be quicker. Y'all trying to wait 2 years before he becomes the player you want him to be, and then you got to pay him like 2 years later.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's tough to work with.
You're right.
You know who was sleeping? The guy who did not vote for Derek Jeter to be unanimously in the Hall of Fame.
Very disrespectful.
Like
very disrespectful.
Like if I'm not mistaken, I believe Derek Jeter has 15 Gold Gloves, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's 15. I think is the number. Like he's they call him the captain. Like a guy named the captain on probably
5 rings
on one of the best team in like baseball history. Shit me, and then like so, who do you think? You think it was a Red Sox fan or do you think it was a Mets fan?
You know what? I the more I thought about it, the more I realized it can be anybody because. The Yankees have haters.
You think it was Alex Rodriguez? Nah, he can't be mad. He has J-Lo, so he can't be.
He got a championship.
Yeah, he's good.
But it could be anybody, bro, because everybody hate the Yankees. Like the way.
So is David Ortiz.
It might be. It can be anybody. The way everybody hates the Patriots, I feel like is the way everybody hates the Yankees. Except we don't really see that because
we love the Yankees.
I
don't know, but it's like it's just disrespectful because like. He deserved that unanimous Hall of Fame.
Yes, it wasn't even close.
If I'm not mistaken, Mariano Rivera got the unanimous bout. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
I think career-wise, don't get me wrong, Mariano Rivera is a monster. But like,
absolutely.
I feel like career-wise, if you're gonna compare the two, I gotta go with Derek Jeter over Mariano Rivera, even though they played 2 different positions respectively. But
you know what I'm saying, closing and all that. But they both did their things. They both brought those championships to New York. Consecutively, consistently. They always did their thing. So it was definitely jealousy and hate that was behind that the decision not to vote him in to the Hall of Fame. Like there's absolutely no reason why you would, unless you dead ass hate the Yankees and hate Derek Jeter, just a grudge.
But you know what? Derek Jeter was a sniper. So
like a sniper, he was out here fucking people's bitches.
Not people's bitches, but like he has like there's a funny picture that they post on Twitter all the time. It's like a baseball diamond with all the positions, but it's like instead of like
girls,
it's like girls. Like you see like Jessica Biel, like J-Lo. I think he did J. I think she's on there too. It's some high class like.
Didn't he have
women.
Jessica Alba?
Yeah,
he did.
I think no. Did he have Jessica Biel? It might have been Jessica Alba, or it could have been both. It was both.
Jeez.
Because I think I like the picture on Twitter, but I don't want to go all the way to Twitter to go find that right now. But he was a sniper, so it could have been anybody. It could have been, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know who has these votes technically, so like it could have really been anybody.
You know how it works, Fredo?
They do it sports writers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it definitely had to be a fan. of like a rival
or
squad.
Somebody whose woman he was with, who
Uh-huh.
like he probably might have did dirty.
Okay.
They might have paid off a writer to then say, yo, look, I know he gonna get in there, it's fine, but what you could do is mess up the like voting, like he could just not get unanimous.
So I feel like these niggas should have a why. Like, why did you vote this? Like, let's hear the reasoning.
But then again, like, do you want to hear like over 100 people's whys?
It's not 100 people though. No, like, is it?
He got 356.
Well, all right, that's a lot of whys. You're right.
Yeah, so.
But I mean, it's that one person. It's like, why? At least.
So
that
if you
one
tell me,
person.
if you say no, you want to hear a why?
If it's dead ass a one vote, bro, out of 360 whatever, I need to know why you voted that.
Heard.
You know, but we're probably not gonna ever know. Sadly.
All right. But well, speaking of hate, it seemed like some hate flared up at this college basketball game between Kansas State and Kansas. Now, I used to like Kansas
Me too.
when Andrew Wiggins was there. I checked in and Joel Embiid, of course. Excuse me.
I was fucking up with like when they had Thomas Robinson and shit like that.
Yeah, my boy Devontae Graham come from Kansas as well. Great player in fantasy basketball if you haven't picked him up. But regardless, so basically what happened was, for those that would be unfamiliar, is it was basically the clock was winding down, and I think Kansas was dribbling out the ball, and then one of the players from Kansas State stole the ball and tried to take it in for a layup. And then I don't remember which player it was specifically, but I think it was Silvio De Souza.
Yeah.
I think he went up. It was him, and he went up and blocked the shot like aggressively.
Flexed on him.
Yeah, OD flexed on him, and testosterone flared, and
boy did it.
They got to physical. When another guy touches another guy in a menacing manner, you got to defend yourself in front of however many thousands of people is watching.
And there was people that wasn't like even playing that was a part of the.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, but it started with them too, obviously.
Yeah.
And then it fled into like where the cameras are, and it just got crazy. And it's rare that you really see that happen in college basketball. So like, what did you think when you first saw it? Like, did you think suspension? Did you think what was the first thoughts going through your mind?
I would like to give a shout out to the person who took that photo of the nigga. I forgot his last name. The nigga you just said.
Oh, De Souza?
Yeah, like he had the chair in his hand and he was about to hit somebody with it. Like that was the photo that everybody is using, like all the websites and stuff like that. So, like when I clicked on it, I thought that somebody got cracked with the chair. But fortunately for the sake of whoever he was about to hit with
See, in that situation, you do not hit somebody with an object. In this situation.
Why? How is this different?
This is so much different.
How?
There is no protective gear, 1. 2,
but
there's other people around that are not even a part of this basketball of the teams that can get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just the players there. There's cameramen there. There's fans there. There's kids there.
But you said there's no protective stuff. The nigga hit him in the head when he had no helmet on.
Okay, with a helmet. He's supposed to be wearing his helmet. That's his problem.
But it wasn't protected.
He was supposed to be wearing his helmet.
Oh my God.
That's what you get.
Do you not see how that just sounds?
I get where you're coming from, but that's Mason Rudolph's fault because you tried to take his helmet, so he took yours and he bitched you with it. That's your fault. You started this and you didn't end it. That's your fault.
All right. Well, that's neither here or there.
Regardless, so what came from that is basically, at first it was Bill Self. He was saying he was embarrassed, and I would be as a coach as well.
Absolutely, college.
I mean, but actually, before we even get to that, how do you feel about the whole trying to score when there's no point in score? Like, where did you stand on that? Because
it's like, what are you doing? Like, when the game is over, the game is over. But like, both of them were in the wrong. Like the Kansas State player didn't have to do all that because at the end of the day I was about to lose the game. Mm-hmm. But niggas just be playing to the final, so they hit 0. So it's whatever. And the Kansas player, he didn't have to be that excessive. He didn't have to flex on him. Like so he was definitely the instigator in that situation. But they both should have never let it get to where it got because it could have been really, really different. It could have been really, really much worse. So
yeah, I felt pretty much the same sentiments as you. Like I really just didn't think either of that was necessarily like you just should have let him dribble it out in my opinion. But then if he's gonna steal it, try and score, like y'all was smoking them. That didn't need to happen.
Yeah, and
And
you
then-
fucking with your money, like your future money, like your future bread. People
Yeah,
gonna-
because now people gonna view you and judge you in a certain light because
that's
of how
always, that's a stain on their record.
exactly because of you know what I'm saying. So and like I was getting towards prior, Bill Self ended up suspending Silvio.
For 12 games, right?
No, at first it was indefinitely, and then it became, I believe,
I think it's 12.
it's either. I feel like I saw 8, but that might not have been for him. That might have been somebody else.
There was like 4 different suspensions.
Yeah, it was 4 different suspensions handed out. He definitely got whatever the number was, whether it was 8, 12, whatever. He got the bulk of it. You know what I'm saying? Which is gonna hurt his team because I believe he is the best player on his team, if I'm not mistaken, or one of the best players on his team. I don't follow Kansas, so I wouldn't be sure, but it's definitely gonna hurt his draft stock, hurt his team in general because they need him on the court. So, you know, it's gonna be interesting to see how, you know, that affects his draft stock. More importantly for me, because you know I don't know where they had him ranked previously, but then now people are gonna view him as a hothead.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody that makes wrong decisions. You know, there's so much different things you can make and fathom from just this situation.
You got to just keep a level head in that situation, man. Like, I understand tempers flare. I understand, you know, like you said, just testosterone takes over. You niggas get crazy. But when you just got to think about the situation that you're in. Being a college D1 player, you know, probably on a scholarship, whatever the case is, and hoping to make it to the next level in some type of professional. So, like, for you to put that at risk, especially for the nigga to really want to do damage with that chair, like, if the person who took the chair from him, like, he basically probably saved his life more than anything.
Exactly, because honestly, I feel like he throws that chair, and
It's
even
over.
if he throws it alone, I think
It's over.
it's over.
Yeah.
If imagine if that connected with something, he might not ever played another game. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, but you just gotta control yourself in a situation like that. You really gotta think about the circumstances and the consequences.
And speaking of thinking of circumstance and consequence, you know who doesn't think of the consequences? The
Exactly. A
NBA
lot of people.
fans.
Okay.
The NBA fans. Well, actually, let's start here. The All-Star game is coming up for the NBA. Nobody cares about the Pro Bowl, so we're never talking about the Pro Bowl.
Nah, probably a dub.
It's a dub. We'll get there. But basically, the way the breakdown goes is the fans have 50% of the vote. And
That's for certain, right?
yeah, fans have 50%, and then the other 25 goes to
Players and media.
players and media. Well, is it? That might be players and code.
25.
Let me see. Let me just double check because I don't want to be wrong.
God
Fredo-
damn it, you're
Fredo-
supposed to do this beforehand.
I did, but because I did look it up. That's where I got the topic from.
God damn it.
But
But you don't got it out.
yeah,
Now you got to
So
search.
it's
You gotta-
fan voting accounts for 50% of the total, and player and media voting for the other 25% respectively.
Okay.
So yeah, I just want to double check myself. Fredo can take out all the research, and he's not gonna do it.
He's
I know.
not. He's going to add all of this.
He's gonna leave it.
Yep.
And Fredo's a bad dude. But anyway, so basically my gripe with that was there's a lot of players in our NBA right now that deserve an All-Star nod.
Right.
One of those players being one of our favorite guys, Derrick Rose.
Right.
But ahead of Derrick Rose in voting is somebody like Alex Caruso in terms of the fan vote, which is why I'm concerned as to why the fan vote counts as so much when there's a lot of troll voting going on. Like, we know Alex Caruso's not that great, but they're still going to vote for him just because it's funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to, imagine getting snubbed because somebody like him got ahead of you because of a 50% fan vote. So, you know, I would call for Adam Silver definitely to relook this and maybe knock it down a notch and make maybe the players, and because it says players and media, so I'm assuming that excludes coaches. It's from the wording I'm getting, which means I would say,
Yeah. Yeah, coaches.
oh, coaches do
yeah,
pick the
they
bench.
do,
You're
they
right.
do.
You're right. I apologize. They just changed that not too long ago. But
Nah,
yeah,
they
so
always pick the bench. Coaches always pick the bench.
coaches never really picked the bench, did they?
I'm pretty sure they always pick.
Oh, that's something that I didn't know that.
No,
I thought everybody got voted in, just voted in.
no.
Okay. But regardless, I feel like though they should definitely knock down the 50% to, I don't know, maybe even 25% and then add another category of people to vote.
What would that category be though?
I mean, it got to be at this point the coaches, you know what I'm saying? Or because if the media already has a vote, the players have a vote, the fans have a vote, then it got to be the coaches or GMs maybe or something of that nature. It can't be like, because I feel like fans having 50%.
Nah, 50% is a lot, and there has been a lot of
or maybe
cases.
up the player vote. Maybe.
Yeah. I would probably suggest like knocking it down to probably like 40 or some shit like that. Because even though 50 is a lot, there hasn't been too many cases where somebody who didn't deserve to be in the All-Star game made it. Granted, there was like Kobe years last year, even though, but there's technicality stuff like that. Like he was always gonna be in the All-Star game because how popular he is. But
Right.
and like it was like players like Yao Ming getting voted in because he had such a huge fan base in China, even though he was injured. But other than that, they changed the rules so there wouldn't be any issues like this. Like even though people like Alex Caruso has so many votes, he's not gonna be a starter. Like, and there's too many popular stars for him to actually get in. But I do understand where you're coming from because it's like that's just mad annoying to see like Taco Fall have more votes than like Andre Drummond or some shit like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense, and it's a whole lot of trolling. But I don't think it's necessarily too much of an issue unless somebody like that actually made the game.
Because, I mean, my thing is 50%, like I said, is a lot.
It is.
Because then you got to go against, the 25 and 25 of the media and players. So it's like, if you're really getting them votes, like the 25, you know what I'm saying? Just, with me and numbers, it's just kind of funny because sometimes sometimes numbers add up funny, even though like mathematically it makes sense. It's just like it adds up funny and then the outcome is like something stupid, like a Yao Ming getting in over whoever else deserved it, more than him, regardless of, talent or actual statistics and stuff like that. So, I don't know. It's just something to think of because, power of social media is crazy. And it's like, it wouldn't be Alex Caruso, but anybody else,
One person that comes to mind is like Kyrie Irving. He doesn't deserve
exactly.
to start.
What I'm saying?
He doesn't deserve to start.
And they've definitely been voting him as if he could potentially be a starter, get starter votes. And
but that's why that other 50% really comes in handy because the players and the media aren't gonna vote for him to be a starter. So that's where it balances out. But again, 50% is a lot, so I would take a little bit away from the fans because some fans be wilding. Personally, I haven't voted for an All-Star game in probably over 10 years.
I'd never vote.
Nah, I used to vote.
I
back
never
in the
vote.
day on my computer.
Mad D Rose.
That was before D Rose.
Oh,
A year before D Rose.
so you just LeBron?
Mad LeBron. Mad LeBron. Yeah.
Mad LeBron, Kevin Garnett.
That's facts, bro. The standard, Dwight Howard, all that.
Facts. He's actually doing a dunk contest. I don't know how you feel about that. Just to throw that in there.
I fuck with it.
I don't know. I just can't see him doing anything spectacular.
Hey man, I feel like it's gonna be cool because it's it's nostalgic. The fact he's probably gonna bring the Superman shit back. So we'll see where that lands. But I'm just tight that Ja's not doing it.
I mean, I feel like if Ja should do it, it should be now. To be honest, I would prefer him to do it now than supposed to later. I hope he doesn't bait on some LeBron stuff and just like never do it.
LeBron fucking blew mine, bro.
But my thing, I'll give LeBron a pass because I don't think LeBron's that flashy of a dunker.
He's not, but it's like, don't say that you're gonna do it. Like he had the whole, I'm putting in my name in the hat. 2010 Dallas dunk contest, and then you gonna pull out and you never gonna ever do a dunk contest. Like, come on now.
Yeah,
and it's like for him to be such a high flyer and him to have such a big name. Michael did multiple, Kobe did multiple, Vince Carter. LeBron has not even attempted a dunk contest. So it's like, that's just a little...
Yeah, I mean, I guess because he didn't want to lose, and I guess, two, he just knows his dunk acumen is just not, like, his range of dunk is not that...
It wasn't going to be that real if he lost, though. Like,
that's what I'm saying. I don't think it was that big of a deal, but, he feels it is. And I guess, his workload or whatever.
Man, Memphis going on that winning streak fucked it up. If they wasn't on that winning streak, if they was still like 12, 13 for the West, he would have been doing a dunk contest, bro.
You might be right, because if they had nothing to really play for...
Yeah, that's what he was like, I want to focus on the season. Now you want to focus on the season? Fuck out of here. I hear him, though.
Exactly. But in terms of focus, someone who's lost focus... I'm getting good at these. Someone who's lost focus and definitely like... Well, at least allegedly, and what it seems like, is Delonte West. Now, Delonte West, for those who might not know who he is, was most popular for having sex with LeBron's mom.
Allegedly.
I was gonna say that. Allegedly. That was the running joke. Like literally, if you look on the like any of those Delonte West posts, like currently, you're still gonna see the same comments. But
fucking children, man.
Yeah, bro. I tell you, so trolls. But like nobody take nothing seriously at all. Like it was bad in 2019. It's probably worse now. But regardless, a video recently surfaced of him. I guess he was being arrested or like detained in some form of way, and he just like he was talking and you didn't understand what he was saying. He looked like he hadn't had a haircut in months to years, maybe. He had that drug bone structure, like he was on some type of drugs. You know what I'm saying? He didn't look good. So when you saw that video, what was your initial thoughts?
It hurt because it's like I done seen photos of like Delonte and like in that fake going towards that path of just being lost, especially considering the fact that he came from that. He was an NBA player. He was extremely talented. You know what I'm saying? Played alongside LeBron. He was a key piece in that Cavaliers team. To go from that to, you know, just being on the streets, like that shit sucks to see. And it's like it's a mental thing too. It's like if I'm not mistaken, he's been diagnosed with bipolar, schizophrenia. So it's like he needs help. He needs help, and it just hurt to see that.
So my question is, do you feel like in the event of something like this, do you feel it's the NBA's responsibility to step in? Or
absolutely.
You feel like it's their responsibility?
I feel like it has to be some sort of thing where if a former employee of yours is, you know, in like a troubling situation like this, you know the NBA has the means to help, so you should help them. Like,
so you would prefer, like, what would you define as help for him?
Getting him into like getting him mental help, getting him into like a facility. Like I don't know exactly what, because I've personally never had to deal with that type of situation, but I know that they have the means to get him any type of help. Whatever help he needs, I know the NBA has the means to do so. And there was a lot of people commenting saying, yo, I'm praying for him. If whatever he needs, I'm here. Like, there was a lot of support coming from, you know, his former colleagues and shit like that. So I would assume that the NBA would follow suit. And I if I'm not mistaken, I think I read something about the NBA, like, they planned on.
Yeah, I did see I didn't read the article, but I saw like a headline saying that I didn't get a chance to read it.
And you know, it's like in this day and age, it's a lot of focus on mental health. You know, like Kevin Love, for instance, he brought a lot of attention to that, and like Matt Barnes and shit like that.
Right.
So I feel like there should be like, you know, set programs for those athletes, you know, to have something, some type of outlet to turn to whenever, you know, they're lost in some type of way, whether it be drug abuse or just fucked up mentally in general. You know?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I don't know if I feel like it's their responsibility.
Not responsibility,
but I feel like, you know, that might be something that maybe they address in like the NBA Players Association, just something that, like, you know, they do as, I don't know if it's their thing is like a union or whatever, but
some
like
type of program.
Yeah, something that they can, that former or retired players not in the league can like go to, you know, because I feel like the fall off for him was probably pretty crazy. Because I mean, I looked online. I think he made about 16 mil off the NBA. So it's like, for you to go from making 16 mil off the NBA to
being on the street,
just babbling. And I didn't understand. You saw the video? Mm-hmm. I didn't understand a word he said.
And before that video, he was getting beat up.
Yeah, I remember that video too. So I'm like, he probably owed somebody drug money. Or maybe it's just little kids. You know, little kids be trying to. That's not funny. But, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But prayers out to Delonte West, definitely, because it's sad to see somebody that was once, you know, in a good position in life in such a low point now. You know what I'm saying?
I hope this time next year, you know, he's speaking, you know, to the people in a positive light.
Yeah, and like he can explain the situation and definitely, you know, see progress, definitely. But to leave that somber note and go into we'll switch gears. Actually, I'm tired of saying switch gears. In 2020, I'm just going to say we're merging to a different lane.
He's definitely going to keep saying switch gears.
No, I'm going to say we're merging to a different lane now.
All right.
So merging lanes. It's a bad one. All right, I'm gonna get another one. But regardless, let's talk Super Bowl.
Motherfucking, we got Reams Niners versus the Kansas City Chiefs. It's about to get crazy. The first number 1 ranked offense versus the number 1 ranked defense. Who do you?
It's almost like it was rigged.
Nah.
But
they both earned that shit.
They did, but it just feels written.
I feel like it would have been rigged if the Packers won, because then it would have been a rematch of the first Super Bowl in the
True
100th season. So.
True, that would have been rigged.
That would have been rigged like a motherfucker, bro.
But regardless, who you got?
Man, that's a tough one. Who I want to win is the Chiefs, personally.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Patrick Mahomes, black quarterback, very talented quarterback, raising that, that Lombardi.
Yo, got to cut you off. But my brother showed me one time this is back before Patrick Mahomes was Patrick Mahomes in the NFL. It's like years ago when a Trayvon Martin thing was first going on. That tweet that he said, he was like, everybody's coming at Zimmerman and don't even know the real story. Or something like, he said some like coon shit. I was like, oh nah. But it was something that he said wild, like this is like 2013, 2012 type thing, whenever that situation first occurred.
He was living with his moms.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna let it pass because you know what? He was stupid. I don't know how old he is currently, but he's not that much.
He's 24. He's
exactly. So he was. Well, how old were you in 2013?
2013, we was graduating high school.
It was like
retard.
Yeah, I was dumb.
Damn, I mean, you can't really get a pass for that. He was wilding. He was wilding for that.
But
regardless of the fact, he's a very talented quarterback. He hasn't said anything like that, as of late. So, but that's neither here nor there. But I want the Chiefs to win. I wanted them to win last season, but unfortunately, the Pats, they won that coin toss, and Tom Brady did Tom Brady things.
Right.
I see the Chiefs. Well, they can go either way, but I see the Chiefs winning probably like 24-21 or some shit like that.
24-21? I don't know. I mean, I have the Chiefs winning as well. Only because I don't know. I feel like with the time they have prepared to prepare for the running game of San Francisco, I think they'll be in better position to defend it as opposed to other teams that they've faced. Like last week when Mostert went for that's not happening to the Chiefs. That's definitely not happening. He over there like he on the roster. But anyway, regardless, so I think the Chiefs offense is definitely unguardable. I don't think like Tyreek Hill in his own is already like a problem, and then you add the rest of the receivers core, and then they have a decent running game as well. So I feel like that offense would just overpower Kansas City, because then even though it's the number 1 defense, I feel like Garoppolo has to now be a real quarterback like this game. Like he can't
just throw 10 passes.
Yeah, like he's gonna have to throw the ball, be like a real quarterback. Not saying he can't do it, but we haven't seen it. So with that being said, if he's going to be getting 3 and outs and, giving up the ball, not getting too many first downs, it's not going to look good for him giving up that field position to the Chiefs. If you give the Chiefs short field, they scoring. So I got the Chiefs winning probably by, I want to say about like 10.
What's the final score?
I think they run it up. I think it's like, I want to say, it's tough. It might be more than 10. That's tough. I don't got a score. Let me think.
Come on, man. You got to throw a score.
A score is tough because then...
I said 24-21.
I'm going to go like 28-18.
28-18.
Yeah, I think they scored like 4 touchdowns. Honestly,
bro, the reason why I said 24, I feel like they're going to struggle to get to that 24. Because that 49ers defense is stupid scary.
But so is that Chiefs offense. And I'm saying, like, I love Richard Sherman to death. But, like, you know what I'm saying? Tyreek Hill is his own monster. Like, you can't – speed kills. Like, there's a reason people say that. Like, you can't really plan too hard for speed. Like, you can kind of, like, game plan, double team, whatever the case may be. But, like, he get over the top, it's over. And Mahomes is hitting that pass accurately 9.9 out of 10 times. So, you know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure I'm telling you, Andy Reid's an offensive genius, bro. Like,
he is.
So, like, I know they're going out there and they're going to be prepared, bro.
So they put up 28 points.
I think they're scoring I think they're scoring like 3 to 4 touchdowns. So 28.
We gonna see. It's gonna be a goodie, man. It's definitely gonna be much better than last year's debacle.
Nah, yeah, I
That
hate it.
shit was terrible, bro. Like, it was really bad. Like, the Rams couldn't put a fucking touchdown, bro. Like,
Yeah, and that's another thing. I feel like it's between Andy Reid and Sean McVay. You feel me? Like, because Sean McVay was very young and new. Like, Andy Reid's been to the playoffs several times. Like,
Mad old.
he's been here. I'm pretty sure.
that's another thing. I hope Andy finally gets that championship.
Another thing too.
I hope he gets that championship because that's the one thing that's holding him back from like being, with the names of the top coaches,
Top
in NFL
tiers,
history.
right? Yeah. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if San Francisco came out and punched him in the mouth early. Because I will say, if they punch him in the mouth early, I don't know that the Chiefs can come back from that if they get punched in the
I
mouth
mean,
early.
you see, bro, the Chiefs, they know how to come back. They like the Golden State Warriors. They can score extremely fast.
They can, but if I don't know, I feel like defense is a lot. Their defense is like really intimidating. So like once they like kind of got like that power, I feel like it'll psych out their other team low key. So I wouldn't be surprised if they win if that happens. But if the Chiefs come out strong, then I already know where this game is going.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so moving on from that, we're just gonna keep a little more current topics. Zion made his debut.
He did. Had 22 points, 8 for 11, 4 for 4 from 3.
I still don't think it was
Split cack.
We're the famous Los, but I still don't think it was that great of a game for him.
Wow.
No, not in a sense. I don't even think it was his fault. I think the way they played him was very ineffective for
4-minute spurts.
Yeah, very ineffective for a guy of his, for how he plays. Because the thing is, like, it's his first NBA game. You got to go out there and you got to find where you fit, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he's out there trying to find where he fits. And then the thing is, like, they had him out there for those 4-minute spurts, and they weren't really like trying to feature him too much. Like the first play, a couple plays of the game, I think they tried to do a play for an alley. Spurs are on it. But other than that, they weren't really trying to feature him too much. And then like it wasn't until like the fourth quarter where like Lonzo kind of took over because actually right before or in the midst of like Zion's like little run in the fourth, Alvin Gentry was calling for a timeout, and Lonzo said, like dubbed it, and like he passed it to Zion for a 3. But regardless, I think it was a decent game for him. It wasn't great. That's a great numbers.
What's a great game?
It's a great game in terms of like the little spurt like that.
So what would have been a great game?
A great game is a great game. He didn't have a great game. He had a great fourth. That's not a great game. He ended up with great numbers because he had a great fourth quarter.
Wow.
That's not a great game. He had 5
stinks,
turnovers. Up until then, he had 5 points and 5 turnovers.
I hear you.
That's not a great game.
So from what you're saying is, if LeBron James scores, he's 1 for 8 for the first 3 quarters, then he has 30 in the fourth quarter. He didn't have a good game.
That's not a good game. He had a good fourth quarter. That's not
a good game.
A game is the whole 4 quarters. Is it
That's
not
a good game.
Is a game not?
You're right. I'm bugging. So if LeBron James or Kobe Bryant goes 1 for 8 first 3 quarters, and then they have 30 in the fourth quarter, that's not a good game.
Yeah.
That's a great fourth quarter. He closed out well.
What
That's not
the
a great
fuck?
game. Bro, if I play like trash for 3 quarters and then I pick it up in the end, that's not a great overall game. That means I picked it up in the fourth and I had a great closeout.
So what would have made the difference if you put up like 10, 9, 10?
And ended up with the same numbers.
Exactly.
Not even because that's a different effect in the game. Because
How?
if Zion had a better overall play throughout all 3 different quarters, they probably would have won that game.
If he stayed in the game, they would have won the game.
Yeah, but he was changing the game in the fourth. But definitely, if he had a better game throughout the first 3 quarters, they would have won.
So
He had 5 turnovers and 5 points at the end of 3 quarters.
if Dwayne Wade,
This is still the same. Yes, I would say Dwayne Wade had a great fourth, but he struggled throughout the game.
I see what you're saying, but it
That
doesn't make
I
sense to
can't
me.
call a fourth quarter a great game.
The fourth quarter is a part of the game.
It is, but that doesn't make it a great game. That's like saying, yo, he hit the game winner. He had a great game. It's not the same thing.
No, it's not. That's not the same.
Because
not the
I
same.
won the game for you. That means I had a
That
great
is not
game.
the same.
No.
That's not the same. His totals are 30 something or whatever the case is.
Okay, but that's just numbers, bro. Like, you can't get caught up in the numbers all the time. Because, like, yes, he was leading them back, but that doesn't make it a great overall game.
So if he had the same numbers, but it was spread out, within the game, he would have had a great game to you.
A great game, but he actually would have had more points if he had.
If he had the exact
if he
same,
played
listen,
more,
if he had the exact same stat line across the 4 quarters, you would have considered that a good game.
Not necessarily. It would have been a good game. That's a good game. 7 and
22
3
points, 8 for 11, 4 for 4 from 3 is not a great game for somebody who debuted in their first NBA game.
If he had that across 3,
that's a great game. That you didn't expect to shoot threes. Like that's on top of that.
I mean, for him, I guess. All right, yeah, for him, that's a great game. But like,
oh my
he scored
gosh,
17 points in a row.
yeah, I know. I watched the game, bro. I watched the entire game. Like that's not. Like we're getting away from the point. That's not what happened. He didn't have that stat line across 4 quarters. He had that sat line because of.
But I'm just trying to. I want you to hear
they were
the
basically
logic.
leaving him open. He got those 4 3-pointers.
So if they did that every single quarter, you would have considered that a great game. But the fact that it happened in the 4th quarter, you're not considering a great game.
Yes, because it's not a overall. They let him shoot those in the 4th quarter.
All right.
That's not a whole great game. He struggled.
All right.
He struggled the majority of the game.
He did. But he scored 22 points at the end of the game. That's it.
He scored 17 in the 4th. He had a great 4th quarter. If I have a great last 4 months of the year, 3 months of the year, that doesn't make it a great year. That makes it a great quarter of the year.
Touche.
Either way, moving on. The Blazers suck. They suck. I don't care who comes back. They suck. Break that team up.
You're crazy. They need my son Yusuf, and it's gonna get spooky. And Trevor about to.
I hope they do what they're supposed to do when they come back. I'll say that because struggling against. I mean, granted, don't get me wrong. The Warriors play super hard for Steve Kerr, even though they have zero talent besides D'Angelo.
Mm-hmm.
But it shouldn't take a Dame 61 to beat the Warriors.
Granted, they only play with 9 people.
Who?
Both teams.
True. I mean, but whose fault is that?
I mean, the Blazers, they have mad injuries, and then they did the trade. So they had.
True. I didn't even take that in consideration.
Yeah,
I forgot.
They needed them 61 points, bro. Like, Melo was doing his thing. Hassan Whiteside did what he needed to do, but they needed those points.
Yeah, I didn't even take that in consideration. I forgot when you get traded. You feel me? Because they got traded that day, I think it was.
They was down 2 people.
Yeah, you're right. So I take that back, but y'all still suck, though, as it currently stands.
Let's go Trailblazers, man.
Let's go Melo.
Let's go Trailblazers. I'm a D-Lo
Dame is cool, too. But, But regardless, that's all I got. You got anything else?
That's it.
All right. Well, this has been another episode of Not Gonna Lie, and we'll catch y'all next week.
Yes, sir.